Welcome back to NATCH Chat. We're going to continue with Con Lazos, and we're going to be still talking more about bullying. So before we went to the break, I remember having a conversation with you, and it was a little bit to do with the Australian culture, and when you came here you didn't sort of get the sense of humour. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, just the culture of basically picking on each other. Something was there that's telling me that's not the way that people should interact, and I was like always like battling, how am I going to get around this? How am I going to go to school tomorrow? I want to muck around with these guys, I want to play around with these guys, I want to be in there. Like, I love my sport, I love everything, everyone appreciated me for what I did with that, but just that cultural barrier was very difficult for me. And it took me, I reckon, to about halfway through university I went and started school teaching. So I would have been about 20, 21 years old. My small group of friends that I was living with, they were really out there, like as Aussie can be. And I grew up in a big Aussie town. I felt like I was the only Greek background out there, even though I was born in Australia. So just the culture of everyone picking on each other. And just like being able to just like roll with a punch, so to speak. It's like they say something to you, they don't actually try and attack you. It's like, you know, I would just want to like interact with you. Sometimes that's the only way that they can interact with you, by throwing something like that out there, and they're trying to pull you in and saying, you come and hang out with us, you know, and this is how we're going to do it.
It's like, oh, sorry for butting in, but it's like, I remember you saying to me, it's like, oh, you're ugly, but that actually means you're good looking. Yeah,
it's like, you know, I remember one of my friends went out there and we were like, you know, having like these dress up, you know, muck around parties, you know, where everyone's coming like as a superstar. And the first thing I heard one of my best friends say, geez, you look ugly today. And I was like, do you mean that, or is that like just a joke or whatever it is? You know, I guess, and that might have to go with people's internal fears as well, because, you know, everybody, like, obviously no one wants to be ugly.
So Con, that's then is really good-natured bullying in that mateship sort of
mateship
idea. But so how do you differentiate between the bully that's really doing it to cause emotional hurt, or obviously the physical is obvious because it's physical, but that psychological sort of attack, you know, how do you differentiate? Or did you have trouble deciding, gee, is this person really a friend playing with me, or is this somebody that really means to do me harm?
I guess the major difference comes from the person that wants to actually hang out with you, or the person who just picks you as a target from far away. If you hang around in a group of friends and someone says something to you, they don't really mean any like harm by it. It's just like, I'm just saying something. If you want to fire something back at me, that's fine. But I guess in the schoolyard, you're hanging out with a group of friends, and then obviously a kid comes through the group and is trying to overtake and overpower it and break the friendships and throw some assaults out there and just see, let's just see who responds to that. I guess the student who's getting bullied, they might then go to the next phase and get upset, and then I might get upset, and if I get upset, it's really something internal to me, and then there might be a confrontation with the other person that's come in. With friends, you'll never ever have to have a fight, whereas the outsider coming in and going, well, you just came into my space, you attacked me, so I've got a couple of ways to retaliate.
I'll butt in there and ask a question. So how personally were you feeling? Like, it experienced the same thing in two countries, so were you angry, or it's like, I'm going to turn this into positive, or how did you deal with all this?
For me, I felt like I was like thinking, all right, what if I went to a different country? What if I went to Russia? What if I went to Spain? What if I went to America? What would I be labelled then as? Would I be labelled as Greek, Australian, or something different? I guess overseas is very, like, you know, like if you go to some countries, they look after their own. Whereas Australia is a very multicultural country. So what made me feel like, when I thought it through, is like, really, this is where I do belong, because I could have come from anywhere, and I want to be here, and I want to belong to these people. So if I went to Russia, I would have felt like I had to go through Russia culture and all that kind of stuff.
So getting to maybe some advice, which is what obviously you've studied and tried to become a specialist in, is helping people. How about the parental influence on what you went through, and in general, how do the parents figure into this whole subject of bullying, especially involving their children or friends of their kids or whatever?
I guess one really big prevalent thing that I've noticed in Australia, and through having taught martial arts for so many years, I felt like in the town that I was growing up, which was mostly single parents, there was no proper role models for their children. So if there's a single parent, obviously that parent has to go out there and work. The parent wasn't really there enough for their children to be able to help them, and maybe go through some role plays with them, and or maybe even make the child feel, you know, like they're part of something good, you know, so part of a society. So what I was finding when I was living in my hometown Melton is that the parent wasn't going to be there for the kid, so the kid was trying to get attention somehow. How is the child going to get attention? How about if I bully someone to try and befriend them? Because remember we were talking about that, if I throw some comments out, maybe I can make a friend out of there. You know, I just got to find another one like me. But what happens sometimes they don't find someone, so they keep on attacking different kids, and like they might find the weak kid. That gives them a sense of purpose. I guess if the parents just did their job properly at home and actually were spending time with the children and actually growing the children to be good adults, that child would not feel like they had to go out there and pick on somebody else to feel like they belong in a part of society. So parents do have a big role to do with it, so they can make the kid a bully, but on the other end of the story, a good parent will actually role play with their child that might be getting bullied, and the child will never come to the parent and say, "Mum, Dad, I'm getting bullied at school, what do I do?" Because the child feels like a sense of, well, you know, I'm not making it in society, I don't want to let my parents down. So maybe the parents can actually join the kid to do like a martial arts course and, like, you know, talk to the martial arts instructor. And
which brings me to another point I want to make, but we really have to go for another break again.
Yeah.
So everyone at home, I'm sure you're enjoying this. It's a very interesting and important topic, bullying. So please stay near your television, and we'll see you in a few minutes.